Let's be honest, there's no guidebook when it comes to relationships. So we end up having to stumble through life trying to figure things out for ourselves. What if there was a podcast that found the answers for you, that provided insight to build a successful relationship and ultimately find the companionship you've always hoped for? Welcome to the Girls Ask Guys show, where we answer the questions most people are afraid to ask when it comes to lessons in life and love. It's time to master this thing called life together with your hosts, John and Ashley.
And welcome back, all you Jacksons. I'm sure you're all sitting at home, chilling, enjoying your nice little social distancing. But of course, we have to come to you. And we're going a little old school. As you can see, we've changed a lot of things. If you've been on the website, if you've been listening to the show format, we've done a lot of changes. So we figured, you know what? Let's get a little nostalgic and kick it old school. So we're going back to our question and answer period. So, John, what's going on?
Yeah.
Want to read the question?
Okay, so the question that we've got is coming from a slightly older gentleman. He's in his late 40s, and he's asking, why does a girl say that I'm everything she needs and wants in a man, but she doesn't know if she has feelings? Is this possible?
Okay, so at first glance, when I read this, I think you're way too old for this question.
Yeah.
To be completely honest, that's my first thought. And I guess that's insensitive because everybody dates at a different speed. But, I mean, as we continue to read, it says, I've been dating this girl for 6 weeks now. So that's a month and a half. Still longer than a Love is Blind dating period. We've spent hours on a date once every week for 6 weeks. So you've gone out 6 times.
Yeah, so we're looking at roughly a week.
Literally, why aren't you guys in Mexico on your honeymoon right now?
Yeah. No, they're still in the pods.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, you're right. They're still in the pods. Dude, calm down. You're still in the fucking pods. That's funny as shit. We message each other throughout the day and speak over the phone for at least an hour right before we go to bed. Once again, I feel like he's too old for this. She's introduced me to her mom, who lives closer to me than she does. Yesterday, I went to town for a date. I went to her town for a date that she had planned for us. And after the date, I asked if I could see where she lives. She said no problem and took me to her house. So clearly she's comfortable. We hung out for a bit and we went out for a meal. While speaking on the phone with her today, I asked if she was going to meet me at her house before I asked her. What? Sorry, this is another one.
I think before he left.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, as he has to travel an hour to her town to get to the date.
So he asked her if she was going to meet him at his house.
Okay.
Yeah.
She said that he is everything she needs and wants in a man, but she doesn't know if she has feelings for him. Is this normal? Like, hey, are you going to meet me at my house? I don't even know.
Then he follows with an update, and pretty much he said that they've had a makeout session on every date. So the way that I'm reading this is they're at two different speeds. He's one of those people who is very anxious for a relationship, and she is just a little bit more cautious.
Right. Which can work out. I mean, I know you guys know it's no secret that I am a Speedy Gonzalez when it comes to relationships. And I find that I believe in love at first sight to a certain degree. But if you meet somebody who is cautious like this, you're the one who's going to have to be patient, not her. You know, you have to understand that not everybody is a Speedy Gonzalez. Some people are a turtle when it comes to these things. They're very cautious. They don't want to rush into something. You know, they want to make sure that they're making the right decision. And if you are that kind of person who believes rush, let's go, let's get married, let's have kids, biological clock is ticking, then you need to really weigh out if you actually like this person or you like the fact that you're in a relationship with the person.
The only other factor that I can really see with this one is that he has a congruency problem.
Mm-hmm.
There's something in there that isn't quite adding up for her. So she sees everything is going correctly. Everything that she could possibly like is there, but could be this one element, either in his personality or in how he's presenting himself, that isn't quite adding up. Such as he's a very sharp dresser. He's very quick-witted and everything, but she gets in his car and it's a complete mess.
Right. Right. Like it's all like she goes to his fucking apartment and it's all wrestling moves and stuff. And that's another thing. Are you set up for this long-term thing? Because if she sees a disconnect, first of all, I would lean towards the fact that it's only been 6 dates. That's what I lean towards. It's only been 6 times you guys have hung out. So to form this, like, you're everything I need in a man, but I don't know if you have feelings. It's probably more so that, yeah, I see all the great traits in you, but I'm not sure if I want to take this to the next level yet because it's way too fucking soon.
Which is rather normal. There are people that they go straight into it and bam, it's just on. And others, they're just like, sit back a little bit. Okay, everything is going good, but let's just make sure before we jump off the deep end.
Right. I'm not trying to just go for it, and that's a very good thing. And that's something that, as, like I said, if you're someone who is a rusher and someone who's a quick decider who doesn't take time to think or anything, that's something you really need to appreciate, is that she's willing to tell you, okay, listen, you are the things that I'm looking for in a man, yes, but I still need to weigh out my own options. She may have her own life. I mean, she may even honestly not be over her ex. There's a lot of things missing from this that I think could really help us kind of assess this a lot better. I do commend her for being honest, though, because it's very hard for some people to be honest. And it's very hard for them to, just tell you the truth that, hey, listen, well, yes, I do think you're incredible and there's very few people like you. I don't quite know yet.
Yeah. There's just so much else out there.
Right.
Trying to assess something in this format is extremely difficult because we don't have all of the facts and we're not actually able to see what is taking place. But from what I'm able to surmise off of this is, I would say she's more like me. I kind of sit back and I go into it with no expectations. It seems like he's already made up his mind.
Which is more like me.
Yeah. That's what I want. That's it. Going for it. And only problem is that when you put somebody up on a pedestal like that, or you look at them and everything is perfect, really you become one side focused.
Right. And very, very, and you're pretty much saying, because I think we also have to take into factor is if she is around his age, she's probably been burned before. I mean, most people don't go into their late 40s and start, and just keep dating. Usually people are married by then. And this is a very generalized thing, but I say, when you're in your 40s, you've probably been through some hell with some people, as far as relationships are concerned. And to get back out there might be a lot. And it might be asking a lot of her, especially if she's confided in you about her struggles with relationships in the past. I don't necessarily think it's fair to say that, hey, and also making out with someone is not a clear indication of their intentions of dating you, because
no, go to a bar.
Ridiculous. Right. Because that to me is why this read very young. It's like, oh, but we've made out. Like, okay, so what? I mean, I'm sure there are people who remember my face in their face that I can't remember. And it's because sexuality is no indication of a long-term relationship. You can be completely sexual with somebody and never have any intentions of being serious with them. And that's just a cold, hard fact. And if you're one of those people who sexuality means something to you, like physical intimacy means something very relationshipy, I guess is the word, then you need to guard yourself. You need to not, put yourself in the position to think, oh, we made out, so that means something. No, it probably doesn't to some people. Actually, I can tell you, it doesn't to a lot of people. It's just that you guys made out. It's no big deal. High school kids do it all the time, They just let their mouths run wild. And so that's that kind of thing where you really need to think about these aspects. Mentioning that you guys made out is no indication to me. The fact that she's only known you for 6 weeks, I don't know, maybe she's been burned before. Like I said, if we take into account their age, you're in your mid-40s, dude, she'd probably fed up. So you have to be willing to wait for this woman. You can't just expect her to want something because you want it. That's not fair, and it's not practical. Yeah.
With this one, I just think that right now they just haven't made up their mind, and just because you've made out doesn't really mean anything.
Man, I'm sorry. And I'm sorry to say that, because
I mean, it could, but you're just kissing. I mean,
Right.
I mean, I want to look too much into that. I mean, it could be they just enjoy it.
Right. And I know that kind of hurts because especially if someone means something to you and you want every action that happens in that relationship to be an indicator that you guys are perfect for each other. But truthfully, sometimes a kiss is just a kiss is just a kiss. And once again, if you're one of those people who sees a value in physical intimacy in the way where a kiss is not just a kiss is a big deal. You know, you're sort of letting up that piece of you show. If that's you, then once again, you are setting yourself up for failure. If you know that you're a rushy type person, you need to make sure when you verify the person that you're dating, you need to make sure that they're a rushy type person too. I wouldn't recommend that. Obviously, I would recommend you finding someone like this woman who says, I don't know. Because that's a perfectly acceptable answer also. Like, she doesn't have to know right away.
Yeah. Really, we look at this and it's 6 dates, 6 weeks. Yeah, you've chatted, you've talked on the phone and stuff like that. But I do that.
Right.
It really doesn't mean that there's anything there.
Right.
It's just you're exchanging, you're having conversations. So give it some time.
Yeah, don't rush into it.
Yeah, we're looking at, when you put it all together, it's 1 date a week, 6 weeks. Yeah, it's a month and a half, but still, it's only 6 dates.
And it's if it is someone that you see as a long-term partner, long-term potential.
They haven't even gotten to that conversation yet.
Right, they can't because he won't let them. I mean, like, he won't just chill the fuck out. And that's a part of it too. That's one of the things I've learned more so than anything is to just chill the fuck out, honestly, because if they are long-term potential, that conversation's going to happen anyway, and it's going to happen naturally, and it's not going to be forced, and you're not going to be forced to go online and ask 2 strangers a question about it. You're just going to be able to talk about it freely and openly and honestly, and you're going to have that security you need. Don't rush security, because then you'll just end up crying in a bottle of Jack.
Yeah. And we've also got another question that just came up.
Yes.
So that was the guy's side question. Here's a question from the girl's side. Do you think my coworker has feelings for me?
Probably. 100%. That's already the answer. That's always the answer. Whenever we get these kind of questions, it's usually yes, because you guys work. People don't understand how intimate, like, working it. You work with someone 8 hours a fucking day. You get to know them very well, and it happens. But let's read it.
So this one is coming in, and she's asking, or she's telling us, I've only been working at my work for a year, but I've realized that this one coworker is always around me. Then she goes in a little bit deeper. Thank you very much for that. So we can kind of get an idea of what's going on. She says that he treats me like I'm a kid, but whenever I talk to him or he talks to me, he tries to teach me things.
What?
Oh, okay.
Like what?
Okay. Yeah. It's
weird context.
Yeah,
like, we asked for context.
This some weird context. Okay. He will talk to me about the news and stuff that's going on in the world and then expands on it from there. He always looks at me and smiles. Okay, well, that's being polite. Even across the room. But I can tell he's looking at me, God. Or at least in my direction. Okay.
Does he sit across from you?
Okay.
Right.
I'm kind of putting all of this into my head here, and just the different office scenarios that I've been in. I'm like, okay, I'm not saying it yet.
Right.
Yeah. He always finds ways to make small talk, even during awkward situations. Always jokes around, and doesn't like it when anybody else is around.
Probably just hates his job.
Probably.
Right.
Okay. I really don't want to date right now. He seems like a good guy, but I know that he would not be a very good influence on me. He drinks and smokes with his friends occasionally. Sometimes he's late to work and gets mad when he has to stay overtime. Okay, I get mad when I have to stay overtime.
Sounds like an adult to me. Like, what the hell? Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Fuck out of here. Overtime?
I feel really awkward around him because I don't have... Okay, hold on. Trying to read this here. I feel really awkward around because I don't like him but I have a feeling he likes me. Is this normal guy behavior? I have no prior experience with guys, so I don't pick up easily on flirting. I don't want to lead him on if that is what I'm doing. Do you think he likes me based off what I've given?
No. I stand corrected.
All right. He probably just enjoys hanging out with you because you're easy to talk to and probably just has fun talking with you. I mean, I have people like that where I go to work. Well, I'm limited on the number of people that I can talk to. It's either 1 or 4. So, and I get who I'm assigned to. So.
You got much option in the people department.
Yeah, I don't have that many options of people that I can interact with. But even so, just because I'm looking in this general direction, if I'm not looking directly at you, you're going to know. Because if I'm looking at somebody, I want to lock eyes. But if I'm looking, and if I do that, or if I notice that you're kind of noticing that I'm looking in your general direction, I will kind of look over, wave, hey, I acknowledge you, and then I'll go back to looking whatever I was looking at. Right.
Maybe he's just a weird-eyed person. I think this person has made it abundantly clear, and I really appreciate the fact that she says, I don't have much experience in the dating world, but also the thing is that he might just think you're a cool person to be around. Sometimes being at work sucks. I know, for me at least, my coworkers are what keep me at jobs most of the time. It's not the actual job itself. It's the fact that I enjoy the people I'm around. So he could just enjoy the fact that you're around. If he does like you and you don't like him, keep it friendly. You don't have to think twice about it. It's okay for someone to like you, and it's okay not to like them back. What's not okay is intentionally knowing that they like you and trying to lead them on, or vice versa, whatever the vice versa of that is. Yeah. It's that's not okay.
And what I would say is, because you've clearly stated that you don't like him,
right?
Let him know. Yeah. If you think that he's possibly flirting with you, or you think that he's possibly going in that direction, just say, hey, I'm not looking for any kind of relationship.
Anything. Right. I'm not looking for that right now. And that's okay. That's the thing is, if you are dealing with a mature human being, which somebody who likes to talk to you about the world, who likes to teach you things, maybe that's just how he shows his friendship. Okay, that's number one. I would do a little Facebook digging myself to see if he's in a relationship. And if he is, then he's probably just being super friendly, and he's a very nice, and like you said, he's a nice guy. You don't like him, which is fine. Yeah. And honestly, until it's brought up in any way from him, there's no need for you to go and embarrass him and make him feel like shit. Yeah. Saying, hey, I don't like you. Like, all right, that's fine if he brings it up, but if he doesn't, then you're not leading him on, because he should honestly understand that until you guys have that conversation, he has no way of knowing whether you're into him or not. You don't just, maybe it's just me. I don't just assume people are into me. Usually, like I say, there's like this feeling, John thinks there's science, but whatever. No, but like I said, I think that there's a feeling you get, and it's a mutual spark feeling. And if he might not feel that either, he needs somebody to talk to because he's bored.
Yeah, and if he likes teaching you things, it's probably not that he actually likes teaching you things. He probably enjoys your company there at whatever office or company you're at, and he's actually trying to help you, to show you how to make your job a little bit easier.
Right.
I do it all the time when I'm working with somebody and we're filling out reports or something else like that. And I can see that they're doing like 5 steps and I know a shortcut key. And I'm like, hey, just do this and this. It saves them time. Mm-hmm. Or change this sentence and word it this way, because that goes over better and there's no misinterpretation if somebody else reads it. It's those kind of tips and things. And it's not that I'm always constantly going up and trying to teach somebody something. I'm just trying to make their job, make their life a little bit easier.
That's what being a coworker is all about, though. And that's another thing. Being a coworker doesn't mean that if you're doing your job correctly, you don't have to necessarily be better. You can teach people. You can help them. You can make sure that they're doing their shit while you're doing your shit, and everybody shit is done. I'd like to address the fact that you said that he hates staying late for work, because guess what? Most people do.
I definitely, especially after it's especially after a really hard, rough day.
Yeah.
Because my shifts are 12 hours long. If I
Mhm.
have to stay a 13th hour, I am
Somebody
not a
gonna
happy
die.
camper.
Exactly. That's common. So to say that, like he's a bad influence, you kind of just really, honestly, I think you're shitting on the guy, and it seems like he's trying to be nothing but nice to you. And just because you think he likes you does not give you a reason to kind of really, you say he's a bad influence. He drinks and smokes with his friends occasionally. All right. If you don't like him, that's fine.
Yeah.
But there's no reason to kind of trash his life because you don't necessarily agree with it. I don't think that's very friendly or co-workerly of you to do. And I think you need to give this guy more credit, because if he's trying to teach you things and trying to help you, maybe he sees your potential and he just wants your career to accelerate. Someone helping you does not necessarily mean that they like you.
So he drinks and smokes. Okay, if you don't like people who drink and smoke, okay, that's
Fine.
that's a common thing.
Right.
Oh, okay, whatever. Sometimes late to work. Who isn't?
Right?
I think my on-time rate is like somewhere around 98%. But if I'm late, I usually call in. So it happens. There's
Right.
an accident and stuff like that. Now, if you didn't say sometimes late and you said always late, okay, well, now we got a problem. But that's management's problem, not yours.
Yours, exactly.
Unless you're one of those people, OCD people like me. But
it's not really like you didn't really name any red flags as much as you did name things that most people are guilty of. Like, oh, he hates being asked to stay late. Well, fun, everyone does. Like most people do. And you're not naming things to me that constitute. If anything, this guy seems really nice. The way you paint the picture is that you're not interested, and so because you're not interested, here's your justification for not being interested, which you don't, number one, owe anybody, but also it's really none of our business. If you want to know if he likes you or not, and you're very, very serious and you really want to know, ask him. If you don't want to embarrass him and you don't want to have that conversation, then just keep it to yourself. There's nothing wrong. You don't have to constantly talk to people about your feelings. If you feel like it's not that big of a deal, and then it's not that big of a deal.
And as far as making small talk, even during awkward situations, I make small talk all the time.
What awkward
all
situation could you possibly be in?
I don't know.
That's my thing. Like,
I guess there's other coworkers there that aren't like really sociable, so they're kind of awkward, I guess. I don't know. Or the conversation is just getting stale or old, or it's boring.
Right.
Because I know, like, after work, a lot of us, we gather up at the entrance area.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yes. And we just hang out. I mean, we can sit there for like an hour and we're just like decompressing. And we don't like talking shop. So if everybody's talking shop, it's either myself or one of the other two people that work there. We're going to change the situation up, and it's going to get awkward for about 3 seconds. And then everybody's like, oh yeah, we're talking shop.
Yeah.
It's time to talk about something else.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, we're all just going to get in our cars and go home. So I guess that could be an awkward situation. But who doesn't make small talk? And if I'm taking a break and I'm going to another area, well, guess what? I'm going there to get out of whatever area I'm in.
Right.
And I'm going to make some small talk.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true. You just gotta, I don't know, if he makes you uncomfortable, because I'm not sure if you're clearly defining uncomfortable or if you're just ripping on this person as a human. And if he makes you uncomfortable, then you need to say that. I'm a firm believer that the minute you feel uncomfortable with someone, you need to nip it in the bud, because if you don't, then they're just going to continue to make you uncomfortable, and they're not going to know about it. Right, exactly. Yeah. So if you're feeling like he is just, some freaking weirdo who works with you and is intentionally making you uncomfortable, then you need to address it. But if you just don't like him as a person, you got to fucking work with him.
I think that's pretty much what she's saying here, because she does say, I feel really awkward around him because I don't like him.
Okay. So yeah, you don't like him.
So you kind of need to make that clear.
I don't want to be around you.
Either tell him, or you can take the other risk, go to management, let them know, and, well, they could either, one, tell you, because this is what I'm going to get, suck it up, deal with it.
Right.
Or
I don't like him as a person. Okay, we don't really like you, but we keep you on board.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's that kind of thing. You're at work.
Well, you were hired to do a job.
Right.
You weren't hired to socialize. So go do your job and figure it out. Or what's going to happen is they can go, okay, well, we got this other position over here. Doesn't quite pay as well. Nobody really likes it. We got a really high turnover rate with it. So guess where we're going to assign you?
Right. Like, it's very simple. If you really think this guy, I don't know, it's a gray area because maybe he is making her uncomfortable, but also, like, maybe she's just being sensitive, you know?
Yeah. So,
those kind of deals.
Yeah. Either tell him, tell management.
Yeah.
That's really all I've got. Go back to college, as you said you're going to do. Don't worry about it. If he's really that annoying, tell him.
Yeah. Honestly, if it bothers you that much, say something. But if it's just personality differences and you can kind of make it through the day, just make it through the fucking day. And that's a big part of, as you get out of college and you start to go to jobs, that's something you're going to have to learn. Because I'll tell you what, if I had a nickel for every coworker I didn't like, I wouldn't have to work anymore. So it's that kind of thing also where you got to deal with that shit and you got to learn how to handle it appropriately. If you feel like I said, if he's truly making you uncomfortable and it's teetering on harassment, that's different. But if you're just being ultra sensitive and wanting your needs catered to, you got to toughen up and you got to get ready for the real world because, like I said, plenty of us have plenty of stories about coworkers we can't stand, and it is what it is. You know, like you're not going to get along with everybody, but at least make work tolerable.
Now, you say you're not really up to speed on flirting. We got a solution for that.
Right? We have like 5 solutions.
We have got like 5 solutions for that. Go over to our website. You can go to our blog section. Totally redesigned, easier to navigate. Go in there, look up flirting, and we've got blogs on it. You can go to our podcast section. Look up our flirting podcasts right there. It's that easy. And seriously, our entire website has been redesigned from the ground up.
John nailed it with that shit. I mean, like, he spent like 7 days not blinking, and it's really awesome. It looks great. It's phenomenal.
But if you're looking for solutions, there's a couple of solutions right there. We break it down. We make it really simple. So at least you know, or you have a general idea of what to look for.
I personally don't think he's flirting with you. I think he's just being
I think he's just being nice.
Person. And I think he might just be annoying and you still like him. And that's cool.
He's one of those annoying, nice people.
Yeah, man. I know all about those people. Yeah. But, super nice. He seems nice. He probably doesn't like you. I mean, and like I said, unless he's willing to have that conversation, it shouldn't really matter. If you feel like you're being, harassed, say something.
Yeah, if it's harassment, that's a totally different story. But from what you have given us, I don't see harassment in there. Well, I just see somebody who's looking for somebody to talk to because they don't like talking to other people. And if he's making you uncomfortable, he probably doesn't realize it. But if you just genuinely don't like him, well, either you're going to have to learn to deal with it because you were hired to do a job, not socialize, or you're going to have to take it up to management and hope for the best, really.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think not liking somebody is a reason to go to management, personally. I think
I've had to do it because both of us did not like each other. I mean, it almost came to the point that we were about to throw punches.
Yeah, obviously, if someone's gonna, if you're disturbing the peace. But I mean, if it's just like a minor personality infraction differences.
If it's a personality infraction where I just don't like working with them, well, yeah, management's pretty much going to tell you to suck it up and deal with it, learn.
Yeah, right.
But if it's on the other extreme, well, then take the management, and because you complained, well, you're more than likely going to be transferred.
Mm-hmm.
So,
especially if he has tenure, or not tenure, I guess, if you're not a teacher, but still, you know what I mean? Like, especially if he's been working, seniority. If he's been working there for a while, he does a great job, he's good at his job. And that's another thing. If you're saying he's trying to teach you things, if he's trying to teach you things about work and he's been there for a while, fucking listen to him. What is, like, I've never complained about, if anything, when I work, I complain about the lack of teaching. You know, I would never complain if someone's truly trying to help me do my job, because ultimately, that person number one, doesn't see you as a threat, but also wants you to survive. So just take that as you will, but don't forget, he's trying to make your life easier too.
Yeah. So that's pretty much where I look at this. Do I think he has feelings for you? He probably just enjoys hanging around, but as far as romantic, no.
I hope not. The way you talked about him on the internet, man, I really hope to God he doesn't.
Yeah.
Cool.
But that's all I've got for this one. And yeah, go check out our site. We've got all kinds of new stuff up there, and it's going to be growing from there. So check it out, and we will talk to you on the next one.
That's all for this episode of the Girls Ask Guys show, where all of us learn to master this thing called life together. For more answers to your questions on life and love, be sure to subscribe to the show so you don't miss a single episode. And head to girlsaskguyshow.com to submit your questions for a future episode or apply to be a guest on the show. Good luck out there, and we'll catch you next time, right here on the Girls Ask Guys show.